Hello, everyone, and hope everyone had a great July 4th weekend and barbecue and all the kind of good stuff and all the burgers. Well, today we want to talk about plant-based nutrition. The idea is how can it help us with weight loss and obesity? That is the fundamental topic today with Nelcy, who is a registered dietitian nutritionist. She focuses on plant-based and vegan nutrition, which most of us do not understand. So welcome, Nelcy.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I'll let you start on what exactly is vegan nutrition and what is the difference between plant-based and vegan. Is it the same or there are some nuances? So let you explain that.
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, one that needs more clarification every day, right? So plant-based nutrition grew from the idea of vegetarian, right? So vegetarian, you have your lacto vegetarian, you have your pescatarian, meaning you have fish, lacto vegetarian, you have dairy and eggs, right? And then you have your flexitarian, meaning like you'll just omit meat products sometimes, right? So now everything is encapsulated into this plant-based, right? But with that said, right, many people see plant-based as different, right? So veganism is more about the ethical part of it, right? So you're not eating, you're not consuming animal products because you care about the animals, you care about the earth, you care about the planet, right? So it's a whole combination of, it's more of a lifestyle, right? So being vegan is more of a lifestyle, right? So you're omitting animals because you care about the animals, the planet, your health, right? Now, plant-based, right, could be a range. It's kind of, for many people, it's a step towards becoming vegan, right? So you become plant-based. You may have cheese on your, on your burger or your salad sometimes, or you may have eggs sometimes, and so it's not like a whole omitting of animals. There is a degree to that, so there's, yeah, and I believe that more clarification needs to be said. But for the most part, plant-based is more about the foods, right? And you're omitting animal products most of the time. But vegan is definitely omitting even things like honey, right? So if it comes from an animal or an animal is making, right? So if it's exploiting animals, it is a no-no, right? So even down to your hair products, your makeup, right? How your clothes are made, right? So you will definitely not wear leather and things like that, right? So your shoes. So it's a little bit more than just the food component of it.
Okay, so let's just come to our topic on how plant-based nutrition, which that is what you're advocating, helps with the sustainable weight loss as well as initial weight loss, right?
Yeah, so definitely. So plant-based nutrition can definitely be a great tool for anyone that wants to attain some fat loss, right? I also want to clarify, there's a difference between fat loss and there's a difference between weight loss, right? So weight loss, you're losing some fat, but you're also losing some muscle. And I can even go into details on how you actually fall into that trap. But so yeah, so plant-based nutrition could be a great tool for fat loss. One thing to consider is we can't stay away from the basic calculation of reducing your calories, right? So calories in must be less than calories out in order to attain some fat loss, right? And that reduction is going to look different for everyone, right? So that's why nutrition and fat loss is very individualized. A nutrition plan, an exercise plan for one person is totally different from the next, right? So yes, that's going to differ in many, many ways. Another thing to keep in mind is plant-based nutrition. Yes, most of the foods, if you're consuming whole foods, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, fresh fruits, vegetables, right? Those are going to be nutrient-rich foods, right? Instead of caloric-dense foods. But in plant-based nutrition, there's a lot of caloric-dense foods, the convenience foods, right? So, which is okay, every once in a while. I'm not saying don't have your ice cream and cookies every now and then, right? but just don't have it every day, right? Because then that's going to create weight gain, right? So for the body, any kind of calories is energy, and stored energy is weight. So, you know, we see it as weight gain, but for the body is energy. So if the body sees extra, they're like gonna be, okay, this is like, it's like a bank, right? So you want to store more and more and more, you know? So it wants to keep that energy, let's say, you know? And yeah, I mean, you know, fat loss, it could be kind of tricky. A lot of times people fall into the trap of following really hypocaloric diets, which is like way below your BMR, what your body actually needs just to function, to breathe, for your lungs, for your heart to pump blood all over your body, right? Your body has a basic number of calories that is required just to keep us alive, period, right? So if you want to reduce that, we have to reduce that. So let's say the basic calculation is 500 calorie reduction a day. That equals to a week, 3,500 calories, which equals to a pound of fat loss, right? Now, is it going to be fat loss or weight loss? It depends. If it's hypocaloric, your body is going to want to go into defense mode. It's going to want to keep that extra energy because it's saying, oh my God, she's consuming or he's consuming way less calories than what I need to perform my daily functions. So that is going to create some, yes, your body's going to lose some fat, but it's going to take some of your muscle mass. And you don't want to decrease your muscle mass, because now when you're decreasing your muscle mass, you're decreasing your basic metabolic rate, right? Your metabolism is going to go low, right? So now you require less amount of food, less amount of calories. So if you go, you know, even 100 calories over that, that's extra. So your body's going to store it, right? So that's the difference between fat loss and weight loss. But plant-based nutrition, if you're doing it the correct way, you can definitely attain some fat loss. It just takes a little bit of individualized approach and some certain tweaks here and there. You know, for everyone, looks different.
Okay, so I do want to talk about that. That's great. I do want to talk about the nutritional deficiencies. If someone is a vegan, right, they cannot consume all the things that meat eaters like me or you, or you're probably plant-based, but I eat occasional meat, can get all the nutrition from the meat, right? So vegan people do not get. So what are your thoughts about that?
So yeah, so the only supplement that I would say we vegans need to worry about is the B12, right? Because the B12 is not, it's only in animal products, but let's all remember that B12, it is grown in the bacteria from the ground, right? So the animals consume, they're grazing on the grass, but that's not how they eat now anyways. But they're grazing on the grass, some of that soil goes into them, right? So they get the B12 and then we consume the animal and that's how we get the B12. Now, because of the demand of production, animals are being supplemented B12. So, it's kind of, so for vegans, that's not even an issue because it's kind of like you're taking the middleman out. It's not, taking a supplement, it's not a big deal. But so yes, B12, very important. Deficiencies, you will notice 2 to 3 years after becoming a vegan or not consuming B12 products, which can happen in, I would say, a normal carnivore diet. Also I have seen it in practice. So it's not just for vegans. Every population can become B12 deficiency, but that's the one nutrient that I would say that you will definitely need to supplement on a vegan lifestyle, for sure. But there are foods that have it too. Things like spirulina, nutritional yeast. I've even bought teas that are fortified with B12. The other day, I just found another brand of plant-based milks that has B12 in it. So it's being fortified in some foods more than before. So you can potentially get it from foods too, but I would definitely supplement just to make sure because it's very important. It's a very important nutrient to have.
Okay, so what would a sample diet, like a meal, would look like? Like someone is vegan or on a plant-based diet. I mean, what do you have? Like, let's just talk about you. Share your, daily kind of a meal plan.
Yeah, so I make sure I add a lot of nuts and seeds. Those are my friends, right? They have the healthy fats. They're going to have some proteins, right? Some fiber too. But the heavier bulk of protein, I get it from things like tofu, seitan. I get it from things like edamame, which has a huge amount of protein you would never think. I believe it's like 17 grams per cup of edamame, and you can sprinkle it on anything. So yeah, so tofu, seitan, and edamame, nuts and seeds, tempeh. I'm not a very big fan of tempeh, but tempeh has a lot of protein, and some whole grains, things like quinoa, 8 grams per a third of a cup. You would never think that a grain will have that much. So things like quinoa, amaranth, and essentially all vegetables. And some fruits, they have protein, and grains, they have protein, right? Some in more quantities than others, right? And yes, legumes is part of my daily foods too, you know, so I make sure I have a variety. Very important to have a variety. You can't just rely on, you know, 5 different meals, you know, just make sure you have a variety. And it hasn't been an issue as of yet, right? So all my lab works are fine. And so yeah, it's just more about having a variety, and including those high protein foods that I just mentioned before. And you're fine. Yeah, it's very easy. It's actually easier than most people think, right? Because you think of plant-based or vegan, you think of, oh, you're restricting something. But what I have found with everyone that I speak to and my clients, it's like you're opening the doors to so many other fruits, vegetables, grains that before they never even thought about. But now, you know, you're finding out about all these fruits and vegetables and that you never even, you know, thought to try before, and now you are trying. So it's actually very easy. It's you know, to follow a plant-based vegan lifestyle. It's really not, you know, it just takes a little bit of planning, but that's it.
I also wanted to add, I mean, I have been sort of like pescatarian, and you know, and the clarity of mind that you get if you let go of meat, you know, and I've noticed that in myself. And if I stay plant-based for 10 days and I'm like, you know, very energetic, the energy levels are different, the clarity of mind is different, you know, the attitude is different. I mean, it's kind of strange. And then in between, the only reason I would eat meat is because I want to get protein, right, from the meat base, like chicken and fish, you know, more of that, a little bit of that. But that is also an added advantage, is to your point that I wanted to bring it out, is the clarity of the mind that you can get, right?
Yes, and you know, I'm sure you probably heard this. We are what we eat. We truly are what we eat. So the foods that we consume definitely have an impact on everything, or how our body functions. You know, everything that you consume has an effect on your gut microbiome, you know, which affects everything. There's so much research like coming out in the last few years about the gut-brain connection. Even your hormones, it can affect your hormones. So yes, those are one of the things. That's one of the statements that I am not tired of hearing, because everyone, you know, seems to have the same experience with plant-based and vegan nutrition. Yes.
All right, well, thank you so much. All I have to say is, even if you are a meat eater, try plant-based for a couple of days, or, you know, like 3 days in a week, or just do a plant-based day. Just try it out and see how it makes a difference, right?
Yes, you start with, you know, how they say now, meatless Mondays or meatless Tuesdays, right? Just try it, you know, it start with one meal, right? Start with one meal, and you see where it goes from there, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I can see the glow on your face, and because you're vegan and plant-based, so I can.
Thank you. I do have good lighting here too, though. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much for being with us. To all the viewers, we are almost at 250,000 followers. I'm so humbled and grateful to each one of you personally. So please keep supporting us. We're coming up with an app. We're coming up with our platforms, making it affordable, holistic wellness. Anything else you'd like to add before I wrap up today, Nelcy?
Yes, no, I mean, try plant-based. I mean, you will open the door to a whole new way of looking at foods. And, you know, even if you don't go plant-based, just go try something new at the market, right? So next time you go to the market, buy that weird vegetable that you don't even know the name. You know, go home, go on social media, find the recipe and make it. And that's my message, I guess.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Yes.
Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.